Hey kids, hey parents, hope that your week is off to a good start. Glad that you guys are tuning in, and I pray that this is helpful for you as you try to follow Jesus. So this week we're summing up the last few weeks, and what we're talking about from the book of 2 Corinthians is that God can save anyone. We looked at Paul, who was this guy who was trying to put Christians in jail and kill them, and then he went to become a Christian himself and then to persuade others to become a Christian and actually suffered a lot for it. He's not someone that you would expect. But Jesus had been saving people like that you wouldn't expect before Paul was on the scene. He was going after people, tax collectors, and people that people considered sinners. They were just, you didn't want to mess with them. You didn't want to get too close because they might get you dirty. They might make you sinful just by being around them. Not because you actually did what they did, just being close to them. Nobody wanted them. But Jesus said, I want people like that. And so Jesus kept saving people like that. And in Paul's letter to the Corinthian church, he talks about how now that we have Christ, we see the world differently. Instead of seeing people according to the flesh, the sinful ways, and thinking, I don't know about that. I don't want anything to do with that kind of person, or that person probably doesn't want to follow Jesus. Instead, we see them according to the Spirit and the Spirit's power, that the same Spirit that God said, let there be light, and there was light. Well, God can do that in that person's life. Even though we think, I don't think they're going to be very interested, or they're probably going to just reject me. No, God is able to save people like that. So I told you about Paul. Well, John Newton, you guys know the song Amazing Grace. The guy that wrote that, before he became a Christian and a pastor a long time ago, he was a slave trader. And not only was he a slave trader, taking human souls and kidnapping them and selling them to people, he mocked God. Like, he made it a point to make fun of God with the sailors on his ship. And they called him the great blasphemer. He'd like to mock God. Well, then God got a hold of his life and he changed him. And he realized his sin and that Jesus had paid the price for him. Well, there's other people out there that you could find out about that they're not people you would expect, but God saved them, because God can save anyone. He can say, let light shine out of darkness, and that dark heart, and boom, all of a sudden there's light, and they trust him. So I hope that's an encouragement to you. Maybe there's somebody that you think, I just don't know how that person could ever become a Christian. Well, the good news is not finally up to you and them. It's up to God's power. Pray that God's power would be at work in their life, and that they would be somebody like Paul and like John Newton, who you thought that there was no way, but there was a way, because with God all things are possible. Now, I've got one more thing for you, and it is a question of the week this time. And I want you to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 14. And it tells us there that there's something, we don't look at people according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. And there's something there that compels us out towards other people because of that. So look at what that is. Let me know. This points for the Trail Stop Store. All right, guys, take care.